everyone, welcome back to Abra Knowledge channel. Today we are going to discuss about important pivotal topic from Six Sigma standpoint. The topic is scatter diagram versus regression and how these two topics are identical and why these two topics are very important from the Six Sigma standpoint. To elaborate this point, I have used Mindmap to jot all the critical points in this one and which I will be explaining it, and the software which I use it Xmind. And all of the detail I put up in the PPT, which I will be sharing right now. Let me start with the what is the difference between scatter and regression, and more from the differentiate or what are the commonality these two plots have got. That's what the topic we will be discussing. There are four things we'll be discussing. One from the key differences using the Xmind and software, which I talked about Mindmap, which I will be elaborating it. And what is the example of strong correlation, moderate correlation, and weak correlation? How to do it in Minitab, and also the summary I will be explaining it. So this is the one scatter. Important value which you need to consider if you are doing it regression is R square or R meaning like correlation. And if the value is 0.3 and less than 0.3, that means weak correlation or no correlation. If the value is greater than 0.3 and less than 0.7, that is called moderate correlation. And the greater than 0.7, that means strong correlation. So just to give you an outset point, the precursor point. So a scatter diagram is used when two variables are there, right? When you in the x-axis and the y-axis or the input side and output side, in both sides, when you have a variable, you can use a scatter diagram. The value can also be negative. Please note the value can also be negative. For example, when you're getting that minus 0.7, that means strong correlation, but only thing is negative strong correlation. Let's say you're getting like minus 0.3, weak correlation, but negative weak correlation. Let's say you're getting like 0.7, that means it's a plus value, moderate correlation, positive moderate correlation. Let's talk about type of correlation that you will get it more of weak correlation as a brief, moderate and then strong correlation. And you will get the both the topic positive correlation and negative correlation. R value can also be minus value also as well. When to use, I briefed about it. X and Y must be variables. And example, for example, speed versus petrol, and the number of students versus score, weight gain versus calorie consumed, temperature versus person wise, speed versus time. All of that things are the cases where you can use that scatter diagram or regression. And the difference between the key difference is scatter gives only plot, regression gives the plot plus slope equation. That is something you might have heard, y equal to mx plus c. That in the Minitab format, it is c plus mx. And it also gives the r square value also as well. So this is the scatter on the right side, and in the split window it has been done. So in the Minitab, so this is the scatter one. It gives only the scatter, and when you give a regression, it gives additional information. For example, what is the slope line? That is y, the delivery time. Example here, c plus m into sorting time, right? What is the r square? This is the important value to consider, right? And then it also gives the p value also as well, right? So you all know that in entire hypothesis, p value is less than 5%, meaning reject the null hypothesis, right? So this is the, that means this has a correlation, but it's a moderate correlation because it's 6.55. That means, in other words, 0.66 we've got. Take an example of what you mean by strong correlation, what is mean by weak correlation. Strong correlation, if you see here, this is the value you will get typically. The all the points are on the line or closer to the slope line. And that means if it's 68, that is closer to 0.7, moderate correlation, but some point are drifted, right? So that means the sorting time and delivery time has got moderate correlation, not a strong correlation. If it is no correlation, the points will be very much away from the slope line. You have seen that in this example, there is not a single point which is touching on the slope. That means it has been completely drifted. It has been completely away from the slope line, right? So that means a weak correlation. This is example of strong correlation, moderate correlation, and weak correlation. Let's take an example, those example in detail. And this is example coming from the Total Quality Management, 5th edition, Pearson edition, and chapter number 18, page number 499. By mean of a scatter diagram regression, determine if a relationship exists between product temperature and percentage. This is the value they have given. They have taken the reading for 20 days. This is a temperature. This is a foam percentage. And in few minutes, I will be explaining how to do it in Minitab. But meanwhile, this is the result of it. So temperature and this one. So 90 points, 91.1 and adjusted is 90.6. That means 91 is a strong correlation, right? That means the temperature have to do with the foam, right? That's what it means. Let's take another example, which is correlated to medium correlation. The spelling is medium correlation. Medium correlation is, for example, this take an example of Amazon distributor wanted to assess if the delivery time is correlated with the sorting time, whether both the variables are dependent on each other. So this is the delivery time, this is the sorting time. And here, if you see that it is a moderate correlated because if the value is, for example, if you say sorting time 5 minutes and delivery time, it is leading to 22 minutes and all that, right? It is drifted away. And that's the reason it is moderate correlation. This is an example of moderate correlation. Let's see the last example. Like bike manufacturer wanted to assess if sale is correlated with ad spend value, whether both are variable or dependent on each other. So this is also coming from total quality management, and there is no correlation, completely no correlation, right? So all are drifted. If the value is being spent, if the ad value is being spent low, also we get a high in the sales. Even if it is being high amount, also we get the high. So therefore, there is no correlation. Correlation is only 1.8 or precisely it is 0%. There is no correlation. And let's see in the the summary, mind map which we did it, mind map where we summarize everything all about that one. And correlation value is -1 to +1, and it can be strong, meaning like 0.7 or 70% R square value. Moderate mean less than 0.7 or above 0.3, right? Point between the 0.3 to 0.7 is moderate one, and less than 0.3 is a weak or no correlation. Differentiated scatter gives only the plot. Regression gives additional information like slope line and R square value and all that, right? And we also saw an example between a strong, medium, and weak. And Minitab, how to do it in Minitab? You need to go to Minitab, graph, and scatter. And then if you wanted to do for regression, Minitab, stat, regression, fitted line, you can go. And this is, hope this video is helpful. Please comment if you have any questions. Meanwhile, we'll quickly do it in Minitab also as well. So this is the three example I have taken. One is temperature, foam, delivery time, and all that. How to do it? So if it is the scatter diagram, it need to be done like that. So for example, go to stat and go to graph, scatter diagram, scatter plot, and then regression with regression. Have a go and click it. And Y is the foam percentage, and X is something the temperature, right? And have a go and click it. So this is the scatter we got. So as I said, that scatter gives only certain points, like only this information, but it does not give the slope line, it value and so on, right? So therefore, what I will do, the same exercise I will do with the help of regression. Let's see in regression. Fitted regression model, and let me just go to stat and regression. In the regression, you have in this one, I will give F3 and I will take foam percentage is a Y output, input is a temperature. Let's see. So you can see here, this gives an additional information. And what additional information? You get the slope line. This is the one additional information. Y, that is foam, plus, I mean, C plus mx, m into temperature, right? You get it. And the scatter, this is the scatter. So the regression directly we can use it. Let's see a couple of other example how to do it. So delivery time, let me do the first scatter. And in the scatter, I'm just clicking in, I will give F3, and y is nothing but delivery time, and the input is that sorting time. This is the value I have got it, right? This is a scatter diagram. The same example, which we can do it with the help of regression. To go to the regression, you need to go to stat and regression. And in the regression, you have fitted line. And in that, I'm just going to give delivery time and sorting time. Give OK. Both are exactly the same plots, but additional information, enrich information, you will get it. Like what is the R square value, what is the standard deviation, because this is, yes, is being referred, because it is coming from the sample value, observed value. That's what it's coming as one. If this is coming from the population, then standard deviation comes. So this is slope line and all that we have got. Let's do the last and final one. This is a moderate correlation, and let's do the last one. I'm just minimizing it, and graph, scatter, and with regression, give OK, and I'm going to give F3. And Y is you have a sales, how much ad been spent. This is the value we have got. You can see here there is no correlation. This is a slope line. Even if you spend low volume, low amount, also we get the high sales. Even if you are spending high amount, also we get the high sales, right? So the same thing, stat, regression, fitted line, and then how much sales and how much input, that is ad. Same graph, you can find it in the both ways, right? So this is no correlation. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please do like, share, subscribe to the channel. You have a wonderful day.